Twister sounds are heard from the movie Wizard of Oz as the tornado lifts Dorothy's house from Kansas and flies it to Oz. The sound effects from the movie are heard along with the scene where Miss Gulch gradually changes into the Wicked Witch of the West. I'm wearing a witch hat and sitting on the floor. I look up in astonishment, mutter, "What on earth is that?" and get flattened. I mime getting out from under the house slowly and say, "What the fuck?" That Benzo Oz twister flattened the hell out of me, body, mind, and spirit for 2 decades. But this time, the good witch Glinda comes to the aid of the Wicked Witch of the West End, who is struggling to taper off the dangerous and dreadful benzodiazepines, that sleeping pills for the innocent, the eager, and the doomed. Glinda offers to help the witch get home to her truest, deepest self, off the medication permanently. And together they would band to fight the truly wicked wizard of Benzo Oz. To do this, the witch has to dig deep into her sedated soul to discover, uncover, and recover her own kidnapped brain, heart, and courage, numbed and buried for 20 years under the brain damage of benzos. Joined later by my companions, the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Cowardly Lion, the Wicked Witch of the West End agrees. This ain't no regular Oz. Welcome to Benzo Oz. Now, let's see if I can. Okay. I don't know if I can do this. Time for a visit to the doctor, and do I have a diagnosis for you? You, young man, clearly have senility, disability, liability, facility, ability, which means you're young. It's a problem. Take a pill. Now you, I see, have ergonomic mobility ability disorder, which means you're mobile, and so is your mobile. I diagnose cell phonolalia, an inability to talk, chew gum, and drive at the same time. It's an addiction for which I have a prescription. Did I hear laughter? To be happy in this society indicates a complete break with reality. And of course I have a pill for that. Now I see some of you look concerned. I can reassure you that all my pills are beautiful and perfectly safe. But then I have an astonishingly flexible definition of the term safe. After all, life is inevitable fatal, and so are plenty of my pills. I see someone saying no to my precious pills. I sense a rebel. I diagnose you with authoritarian, contrarian, Rotarian disorder, and I have a huge pill for that, plus the most elegant little white straitjacket. Now you get the biggest pill of them all. Take 2. You won't be able to call me in the morning. Let's face it, life itself is often dark, difficult, dangerous, and disturbing. I diagnose life with a disorder, and I myself take a rainbow of pills for that. You have the worst disorder of them all. You're dangerously, horrifically, miserably, undeniably normal. That means you're not going to want to take my pills. But wait, I may have to take a pill myself to get over that. But I can fix that. Normalcy's so very boring. I have a discount on prefrontal lobotomies this week. All your troubles will just disappear, poof, along with most of your brain. What? Do I sense resistance? You all clearly have inspirational, gestational, masturbational, expirational disorders. You're born, you live, you die. Take a pill. That's my motto. 27 years ago, I began suffering from insomnia and saw a psychiatrist for help. Instead of teaching me healthy sleep habits or suggesting meditation or exercise, he pushed sleeping pills. Benzodiazepines, one of the most dangerous drugs on the planet. Now, I'd read the AMA guide to better sleep. So I said they're addictive, they're harmful, you don't get real sleep, and studies show you perform worse on tests. Why on earth would I want to take those, doctor? He responded like any good pusher, Linda, that's true of the old ones, but the new ones, they're safe and effective, and you need to sleep. 2 weeks later, the woman who clearly and firmly said no to drugs whined, I can't stand the aftertaste of these. I want my clonazepam back. Clonazepam, 10 times more powerful than Valium, as addictive as heroin, and I'd been free of them for 7 years. The doctor had admitted they were harmful and addictive, then gave me bucket loads, renewing them before I even asked, handing me large vials of the drugs rather than writing a prescription. Gradually, I was unable to write anymore, despite having made a living as a writer for a decade. Right, hell, I couldn't think anymore. The doctor forgot to mention itty-bitty tiny side effects like brain damage, discovered 30 years ago, but covered up by the drug companies. Or that they're safe for only 2 weeks, and after that, you're twice as likely to get a dementia and 4 times as likely to die. Or that 70% of people are harmed or disabled by benzos, which I now was. When I had to stop working, my GP diagnosed the disability as a fibromyalgia relapse. When the drugs stopped working, instead of taking me off them, she added another pill, then another. By this time, I was too stunned, stoned, stupefied, and sedated to protest, and immediately took just what the doctor prescribed. I became sicker and weaker, mostly housebound and often bedridden. My blood pressure so dangerously low, I couldn't stand up. Some days I had to crawl to the kitchen. My veins began to leak, my face fat as a pumpkin, my ankles the size of footballs, and it was getting worse daily. I feared I was going to end up in a wheelchair, missing some toes. The future looked bleak. Instead, I realized I was addicted. The benzos hadn't worked in a decade, but I got stoned up enough at night. I no longer cared. I still had insomnia. I decided to get clean and sober, and while I was at it, quit 4 other useless drugs. I still thought I'd end up in that wheelchair. Instead, to my astonishment, 6 months later, I could stand up every single day. My dangerously low blood pressure that had me bedbound was now normal. Instead of needing 12 to 17 hours of sleep, I could get by on 7. And I woke up with energy and clarity instead of always exhausted. Even the pain became massively better. Truly, it seemed like a miracle. But that wasn't the end of the story. Benzo withdrawal is far tougher and takes longer to get quit than heroin, crack cocaine, and alcohol combined, because withdrawal symptoms can go on for years. I experienced clinical depression, akathisia, depersonalization, hallucinations, all symptoms completely unknown to me before quitting sleeping pills. All I had was insomnia. Despite that, by quitting these drugs, I got my life back. I now write, perform, exercise, and socialize. These are my fixes now. I battle my demons with love, laughter, creativity, and community. But I lost 20 years of my life to a drug pusher who just happened to be a doctor.